So in this video, we're going to be looking at some examples of graphing these quadratic functions in intercept form. And so first, just to go over some steps to do that, we're going to follow basically 4 different steps. Our first step is to find and graph the x-intercepts, which remember is your P and Q. Second, you're going to find the AOS, which remember that just stands for axis symmetry. And then we're going to use the axis symmetry to find the vertex. And then we'll draw a smooth curve through all points. So let's go through some examples. So I have the function f of x is equal to x plus 4 times x minus 2. My first step is to find and graph the x-intercepts. So I'm going to find my P and my Q. Well, looking at this first parentheses, I have x plus 4. And so that plus 4 is going to be my P. But remember, I need to take the opposite sign. So since it says plus 4, that really means my P is minus 4. And then for my Q, I see a minus 2 here, but again, I need to take that opposite sign. So instead of a minus 2, my Q is positive 2. And so that means that my x-intercepts will be negative 4, 0, and 2, 0. So I'm going to go ahead and graph those first. So negative 4 is right here, and then 2. Next, I need to find my axis of symmetry. And so going back up to the top, my axis of symmetry, what I need to do was I needed to add my P and Q and then divide them by 2. So x is equal to P plus Q for 2. Well, my P is equal to negative 4. My Q is equal to 2. Negative 4 plus 2, I get negative 2. And negative 2 divided by 2, I get negative 1. So I found my axis symmetry. Now my last step is I need to plug that into my function to find what my vertex is. And so plugging in negative 1 into x, I get negative 1 plus 4 times negative 1 minus 2. Negative 1 plus 4, I get 3. Negative 1 minus 2, I get negative 3. And so I get negative 9. So that means that my vertex is at negative 1, negative 9. So now I'm going to plot that. It's going to be right here. And now that I have 3 points, I can go ahead and fill in my parabola. And now lastly, it asks us to find the domain and range. So domain, again, that's just always going to be all real numbers. And then the range, here, since it's opening up, it's going to be y is greater than or equal to. And it's going to be greater than or equal to the y value of your vertex. So my y value of the vertex is negative 9. So that means that this is going to be y is greater than or equal to negative 9. Okay, let's try this next one. So again, my first step is to find my x-intercept. So here my P, since this is a plus 5, that means my P is really negative 5. For my Q, since I see minus 1 here, that means my Q is positive 1. So therefore, my x-intercepts are negative 5, 0, and 1, 0. 5 and 1. Now to find my axis symmetry, I need to do P plus Q divided by 2. So I have negative 5 plus 1 divided by 2. Well, negative 5 plus 1, I get negative 4. And so I get the x is equal to negative 2. And now to find my y, I need to plug that in so I can finish my vertex. So I have negative 2 plus 5, negative 2 minus 1. Negative 2 plus 5, I get 3. Negative 2 minus 1, I get negative 3. And so really this negative out here is just going to be really negative 1. So negative 1 times 3, I get negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3, I get positive 9. And so that means that my vertex is negative 2, 9. I just draw my curve. And then lastly, domain, again, that's just all real numbers. My range, since this one's opening down, it's going to be y is less than or equal to, and then my y value in my vertex here is 9. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. I want you to try and do number 1. So this is the answer that you should have gotten for number 1. Now for this last one, this one looks a little bit different. So I see I don't have parentheses over here, I just have negative 4x. But one way that you can think about this is that this is the same thing as saying negative 4 times x plus 0, x minus 2. So that means that my p-value is just going to equal 0, and my q is going to equal to 2. And so therefore my x-intercepts are 0, 0, and then 2, 0. And now we'll go through that same step. So finding my x, I'm going to do p plus q, so 0 plus 2 over 2, which is just equal to 2 over 2. So I get that x is equal to 1. And then plugging that in for f of x, I get negative 4 times 1 minus 2. And so I have negative 4 times negative 1. So I get f of x is equal to 4. So that means that my vertex here is going to be at 1, 4. And then I go ahead and draw my parabola from there. Domain is always just all real numbers. And then for my range, since this one's pointing downwards, it's going to be y is less than or equal to. And then my y value, my vertex, is at 4.